This video is about how to communicate telepathically with your dog or with your pet. It does cover the basics and how to get you started with it. So you will learn how to approach your animal and when and how to do it. But it doesn't give you a proper guided meditation or proper structure to do it, because I thought that would be another video in itself just about that. So it's just basically the basics to get you started with it, so you can understand what to do and what not to do and have a general understanding of telepathic communication with animals. And I will cover the actual technique to communicate with animals telepathically in a future video. So feel free to subscribe to my channel so you can be kept updated about when this video is released. And thank you for watching. Hi there. Today I'd like to talk about how to communicate with your animals, and especially with your dog. So I'm here in the beautiful woods. You can see Tara. Tara! Hello! Hello, Tara. And Tara's busy listening to everything. So, how to communicate with your dog? Well, first of all, I would say that it's really important to approach your dog when you're feeling calm, centered, when you're feeling peaceful. You know, if you can find that quiet space within yourself where you feel like you're very grounded and very calm and very still, then that's a good time to approach your dog. Definitely not if you're feeling stressed out, overwhelmed, emotional, tense, or down, or even too high or too up. You know, extremes are generally not. Extremes are generally a bit unsettling for animals, so really try to find a calm space within yourself, and then you can approach your dog to communicate with him or her. Animals, and especially dogs and cats, absorb a lot the emotions or the vibrations coming from their people. They're like proper sponges, so they really pick up on fear, anxiety, emotional turmoil, or anything like that, ups and downs. They really pick up on it, and that's why, I suppose that's why it's so healing to be around animals, and people find it so healing to be with their dog, aside from the unconditional love that their dog is giving them. There's also something healing, and I think it's also probably why you see so many animals like pets, dogs and cats, with cancer these days. But if you look in the wild animals never really get cancer, whereas dogs and cats have that's like one of the major causes of death, illness, due to illness, in pets these days. Of course, it's also down to diet and industrial pet food industry, but I also believe that a lot of it is due to stress that they pick up from being around their people, who can be anxious, depressed, tense, stressed, etc. So I think that's also important to try to approach your pet with a very good intentions and a very clear mind. And then you can try to be around your animal and try to focus on being and not doing anything. Like you might be, thinking, okay, I'm in the house, I've got the laundry to do, the dishes and cooking dinner. Try to put this aside and focus on just being with them and spending quality time with them, just being, not doing anything, not thinking, and being present without thinking what's the next task you've got to process in your day. Like, I know task processing is very addictive, but if you're going to think, okay, I'm going to sit down with my dog for half an hour, that's all I'm going to be thinking and doing. I'm not going to be ahead of myself thinking, okay, there's a laundry and this and that. It's good to just be able to enjoy quality time with them. They really appreciate that. And then if you've got something to tell them now and you've got a message for them, try to picture in your mind what is it you really want to tell them, and try to keep a clear picture in your mind of what you want to say, because we tend to have a bit of a monkey chatter in our mind, and our mind tends to go from one thought to the other, like bang, 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 bang. And we find it hard to stay with one thought and just focus on it. That's really what you want to try to do with your animal, is to just, focus on what thought and stay with it and really picture it, see the image clearly in your head, and then express your question, keeping that image in mind of what you want your animal to understand or to be doing. Make sure if you're going to talk that you're talking, your voice is matching what's in your mind. For instance, if you want to address a behavioral issue with your dog, let's say your dog is barking or barking at something and you'd rather it wasn't. If you just say don't bark, the image in your mind is the image of your dog barking. So that can be really confusing because you're saying, okay, you said don't do something, but then you're sending me the image of me doing it. So what is it that I should be doing? So it's quite confusing and unsettling. And when animals are unsettled, they tend to not be quite responsive to, or not quite unsettled and have like unsettled behavior, such as barking, for instance. So yeah, try to really focus on one thing at a time. Obviously, don't start to approach all the big list. Don't go there with a big agenda and a big list of tick, 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 tick. And by the way, I don't like it when you do that. And and try to stay positive when you talk, because as I say, negative don't match the image in your mind that you want them to do. So instead of saying don't bark, you can try to approach it and word it in a positive way. For instance, when the mailman come, be quiet or lie down, or can you go and do this instead? I mean, whatever you find is a good replacement. Now, I find that if you really want to successfully communicate with animals, generally speaking, but that's especially true with dogs, and we're talking about dogs today, you've got to be really mindful of your body language and what vibration, what energy you're sending out. As I said earlier, if you're sad, upset, or a bit emotional, you're sending out that vibe to your animal. Now, the body language is equally important. I would say that the dog first read your body language and your energy and the vibe about you. Then he would read the image in your mind, the picture you've got in your mind, and then your voice. So it's really important that you can make sure your body language is one that a dog would understand, and that you're in a calm and quiet space. And then your voice, and then the third thing you would use is the voice, and the voice is basically using a positive enforcement message, which is matching with the image you've got in your mind. It's important that there is no contradiction in the message, otherwise you might end up just create a big confusion with the dog, and the dog might end up not really knowing what's expected. So I think it's also worth keeping in mind that, like people, animals are very different from one another. They're not all the same, so we cannot say all cows think that dairy farming is okay, all cows think that life after death is actually not something to be scared of. Some animals think like that and some don't. They're like people, they've got various views and there are different levels with that kind of subject. So I wouldn't expect too much. I know people tend to think, okay, yeah, animals are amazing teachers. I wouldn't put too much expectations on your animals. You see how it goes. Go there with an open mind. Communicate with your animal with an open mind and see what happens. Try to keep it fun and simple to begin with. Now I'm talking more if you're having a conversation there. Try to keep it fun and simple. You can ask them simple questions like, what the color of your dish, or what favorite place, what is your favorite place to sleep in the house when I'm not at home? And you might be surprised. What's your favorite? Try to find questions you might not necessarily know the answer, so you can actually be surprised. Like, of course, if you ask what's your favorite toy or what's your favorite dish, you might think, okay, I already know the answer on that one. So, but you can ask them questions like, what's your favorite animal friend? Who is your favorite animal friend? What food do you really like? And go with the first thing that comes in your mind. The first thing is the right one. For instance, if you ask your animal, what's your favorite food? If your dog sends you the image of its dish full of chicken carcass, for instance, go with that. And then if you have second answers, as in I don't know, whatever else, I don't know, other things, I wouldn't necessarily go with that. I mean, obviously the dog might say I like that and that, but it's important to go with the first thing that pops up to your mind when you start, because that's normally the true thing, and then the rest can be your mind trying to make it up a bit. So normally I would say the first answer that springs to your mind is the right one. And then you can ask fun questions like what it's like to be a dog, and what does what does the trees smell like, or what is it like to run around in the snow, or what is it like to smell the air, what can you smell, what can you hear. It's interesting to ask them that kind of question. What is it like? Why, if you can ask your cat why are you purring, and be open to the question. You can also use a notepad and a pen to begin with. You might find it interesting. You might find that you can stay with it and focus more writing. It depends. Then it can depend what kind of person you are. Some people are more into sending images, which is more clairvoyant. Some people are clairsentient more, so they can feel things more. Some people can become clairaudient when they hear a voice in their head. So it varies from one person to the other. It depends on what part of your brain is the more is used. What part of your brain you exercise the most, generally speaking. But again, you can be all of them at once, or you can be just one of them, and it depends. And what's really important is that you set aside some time to practice. The more you do it, it's like learning a foreign language. For instance, I'm French. I didn't learn English overnight. It took me practice. It took me speaking it on my own. It took me speaking with other people. It takes practice. You've got to practice it again and again. So the more you practice, the better you're going to get at it. You're going to be at it. To begin with, keep it simple. Don't put too high expectations on yourself or on your animal. Just enjoy it, have fun, keep it playful and simple, and you will see the results. Because I'm always amazed when I speak to my animals. I'm always amazed how much it works, even though I've been doing it for quite a while now. It works. It's just incredible. Like if you want to tell them something that's going to happen, any change in the house, or any new animal that you're going to introduce in the house, or any change or anything that's about to change in their world, if you tell them in advance, their reaction is dramatically different than if you hadn't tell them. So animal communication never ceases to amaze me in terms of what the animals have to say, and also how I can actually make my animals react a certain way or understand things better. Animals do love it. It's like, for them, it's like, when you have a gag on your mouth and you cannot talk or no one ever listen to you. They just like, they really, really love it. They're really happy to be asked what they think about stuff, or to, you just have their opinion taken into account into the, how you're running the household or your family life, being asked, what they think of something, or being asked, how they feel about having a new dog in the house, or what they feel like. You might be surprised. They might, or what they would like you to change, or you could make their life happier. I mean, it's a really big tool. I think people really think that dog training and is really important. That's how you get your dog to behave. I don't think that's the case. I think that dog training, as its uses, again, it depends what method. I would definitely encourage you to look into behavioral training, when you actually read the body language of the dog and see it as how dogs evolve in the pack, and try to reproduce that in your house. And then by asserting yourself as being the pack leader, you can actually make your dog feel more settled and more comfortable with the pack hierarchy. But that's another video topic. But I think that you could really do wonders with obviously positive reinforcement training, like through, for instance, what they call dog whispering, or behavioral training. But I think that if you combine such dog training with animal communication, and creating a strong bond, a strong connection with your animal, I think that's also the case with horses, or with any animal you end up connected deeply with. You can really achieve amazing results, amazing things in terms of improving behavior, in terms of obviously the obvious result of bonding with your animal, having a strong connection with them. You'll find that you can actually tackle like minor behavioral issues, or even get them to see the point of doing certain things you would like them to do. I think it's really important to communicate and keep the dialogue, that kind of connection open with them, because then you're not forcing them to do anything. It's an harmonious relationship. You can talk to them talk with them, and they can tell you what they think of it, and then you can take what they think into account, and then you can maybe add changes to what you had in mind, so it can also be beneficial to the dog and you and their family. So it's definitely a very useful tool, and I really hope that this video would have helped you understand a bit better how it works, and understand how you could actually get started with it and do it in your day-to-day life. Obviously, you can also read about it and attend workshops about it. There are plenty of other things to have a more in-depth study of it. Workshops are definitely worth attending because it's quite confidence building, because there might be a point when you're on your own with it and you think, okay, I'm here and I can hear voices of my dog in my head and I'm just going mad, so I think going to a workshop when other people are there and they can all hear the same thing as you, and it's not your dog, it's someone else's dog you're asking questions to, that definitely can build your confidence and help you think, okay, this is really happening, I'm not crazy, this is not me making it up, I'm not making it up, it's actually, really there. So that's definitely something that's worth, looking into. Also, I would say try to develop another practice of your own, because don't make it your spiritual practice, because I think it can be easily, I think it's an amazing thing to do, an amazing spiritual practice to share with your animal, but I think it's good to have something that makes you feel grounded. For instance, I do yoga every day. Yoga is my thing, and it really keeps me grounded, and it really helped me to be able to stay focused, be more mindful, like work on my mind and on my mindfulness and on my breathing and releasing blockages and releasing things. And for me, yoga really helped me. So I would say my main spiritual practice would be more yoga, and that animal communication is, something I really enjoy doing and what I do with my animals. But I think it's interesting to have another, like maybe meditation, tai chi or qigong or yoga or something like that really make you breathe and focus on your breathing and stay with your breath and with the witness of your breath, and really, clear up your mind. Do like a big cleaning, of your mind, so you don't keep all of that in you and it doesn't end up creating confusion or more mess in there. So I think like meditation and things like meditation or yoga, for instance, really help you to, process all of it and do all the healing that needs occurring, and really clear your mind from all of that. Because for instance, I've been working with farmed animals quite a lot, and I find that if I stop practicing yoga to just focus on my work with the cows, it can end up being too much, like too overwhelming. I don't know if you see what I mean. So it's good to develop your own practice, your own spiritual practice on your own, so you can really feel like you're working on your chakras, on your, mindfulness, on your own, gaining your own, I would say, spiritual path. And then you can approach the animals from a much better perspective, and you're in a much better place. And you can also offer them help. Sometimes you would meet animals who might need counseling or who might need just to be heard, so you're in a better place to offer something in return. So I hope that was useful. Thank you for watching. I hope you found it useful, and I hope that it's gonna, help you to connect at a deeper level with your animals, and especially with your dog, and that hope that it will like a bit like a spring, it's going to like start flowing, like all your psychic abilities are going to start flowing like a spring, and you're going to be able to have like great conversations with your dog and have a better understanding of one another. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye.